Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear.
A cry first heard more than 40 years ago, but never more meaningful than today. It reminds us of a time when we were forced to use our imagination, a time when the greatest entertainers in the world came into our living room, a time when radio was king. This year, while our country is celebrating its 200th anniversary, radio is celebrating its 50th anniversary. During those 50 years, many of us grew up with radio. We laughed with the comedies, cried with the soap operas, and were excited with the dramas. Thanks to the miracle of transcription, and to the hundreds of collectors who are keeping these memories alive, we can turn back the clock and return to those thrilling days of yesteryear. On January 12, 1926, two men made their appearance on radio as blackface characters. At the time, they did not know that they were starting the longest-running, most popular show in radio history. They called their show Sam and Henry.
Let me look at that book a minute, Henry. Look here. Here's a speech that starts out, ladies and gentlemen.
That ain't the speech. That ain't the one.
Henry, don't you forget to hold that book open now, and if I get stuck, you help me out.
I'll do that, all right. Look out now. The brother's going to call on you. Now, wait a minute.
Brothers, we have with us tonight one of our new members of the Jewels of the Crown who has proven himself a worthy rhinestone. This brother I refer to is a native of Birmingham, Alabama, and at this time I was going to call on Brother Sam Smith for a few words.
There you go now, there you go.
Hold that book now, Henry. Here I go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
Over.
Accustomed.
Accustomed as I is to making speeches, I want to say a few words to the good brothers here tonight. When I was a little boy, how is that, Henry?
Keep on, don't turn around.
Accustomed as I is to making speeches.
You is crazy.
Accustomed as I is to making speeches, you is crazy.
Uh-oh.
Over.
2 years later, they changed the characters to Amos and Andy.
Tell me, the way we is going now, we is just starving to death, that's all.
Now, listen, Amos. You just stick to me and you'll be rich. What would you think if you'd wake up some morning and put your hand in your pants pocket and find a roll of $20 bills?
I wouldn't think nothing. I'd know I had on somebody else's pants, that's all.
The trouble is with you, Amos, you don't try to learn nothing. You don't read books. I read books all the time.
What kind of book you reading?
Well, I've been reading a book about electricity. Electricity is the greatest thing that has ever been invented.
I think a safety pin is just as good as electricity is. I'm crazy about a safety pin.
What you mean, that a safety pin is greater than electricity is?
That's just what I claim.
How come you think a safety pin is greater than electricity?
Suppose you was walking down the street on a hot day with your coat off and your suspender broke.
Well, suppose the suspender did break.
Well, what good is electricity going to do you?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker of the evening, Professor Andrew Brown.
Yeah, there you go, Andy. Now stop shaking.
Yeah, hold that book open. Here I go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be here tonight. When I was a little boy, Kingfish, start over. Ladies and gentlemen, Kingfish.
Talk about finance.
Speaking of finances, you take the finances of today, and you take the finances of the past 100 years, and when you take them all, you has got them. Kingfish.
Talk about politics.
What kind of chicks?
Polly.
Speaking of the chicks on the Polly, ladies,
Your shirt tail is out.
your shirt tail is out. Kingfish.
Start over.
Call me. Ladies and gentlemen.
The two men were Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll. And when their show was on theaters stopped the film so that the audience could listen. When Amos and Andy celebrated their 25th anniversary, they told the world their life story.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ed Murrow. Tonight, we of the Columbia Broadcasting System pay tribute to Amos and Andy. For 25 years, Amos and Andy have been a familiar part of the American scene. But who are Amos and Andy? Where did they come from? Tonight, for the first time, the creators of these beloved characters step out from behind the masks of their famous portrayals to dramatize their own story. The story of Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll. I know of no one better qualified to help tell you this story than the voice so long associated with the history of Amos and Andy.
Good evening. This is Bill Hay. Where did Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll first meet? One rainy night in Durham, North Carolina, right after World War I. Young Peoria-born Charlie Correll had been sent down from Chicago to stage a local amateur show. The cast was rehearsing on the second floor of the Elks Lodge, and Charlie, at the piano, was having his trouble with the chorus.
All right, kids, here we go again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold it, hold it, hold it. You there, Dottie, on the end. You're cuter than a barrel of monkeys, but would you do your Uncle Charlie a favor and try to remember your left foot from your right? That's right, that's the one.
Excuse me.
You want to see me?
Sorry to interrupt you, but you are Correll, aren't you?
That's right, Charlie Correll. Can I do something for you?
I'm Freeman Gosden. I just started with a company producing shows, and they sent me down to pick up some scripts and music.
Oh, yes, so you're Gosden. Be right with you, kids. How are you, Freeman? Well, I got all the stuff back at the hotel. Say, you're putting this same show on over in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. We start rehearsals Monday.
Well, then listen, how about getting up in front of these kids and showing them this step? I've got my hands full with the piano.
Be glad to, Charlie.
Listen, folks, this is my new partner, Freeman Gosden.
And thus the beginning of a partnership was formed. For the next few years, they traveled all over the South producing amateur shows, learning, working together. Those were lean years, the hard years. The boys did everything, produced, directed, wrote, and even performed in some of the shows. Then, one night in New Orleans, they were talked into appearing on a strange new device, radio.
Say, this is something, isn't it, guys? The fellow says we sing into this big megaphone here. You think anybody will actually hear us?
Well, one of the fellows here was telling me this morning they got a phone call from a woman who lives a mile away from the station.
No fooling. That fellow with the earphones is waving at us again.
Stand by. You're on the air. Okay, Charlie, hit it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, everyone knows. They say you're gorgeous, gorgeous from your head to your toes. As a kid of 10, you were a wow, wow, wow. You were pretty then, but look at you, Charlie. What? Look, you're simply gorgeous. Yes, that was their first appearance on radio. But outside of a call from the woman who lived a mile away from the station, nothing came.